In 1242, a fierce battle erupted on the ice in the Baltics between Catholic crusading forces and those of the Orthodox Republic of Novgorod, as both sides were looking to assert their dominance of their religion on the region. Christian crusaders had been frolicking around the Baltic region since the late 12th century in order to try and convert the pagan tribes to Christianity. However, the Orthodox Republic of Novgorod were also pretty keen on the area as well, and as Christian incursions continued eastward, they started encroaching on Novgorod's turf. It wasn't just the Crusaders causing the Novgorod's trouble though, as in 1237 the great Mongol horde began rampaging through Russia at immense speeds, and Novgorod, instead of risking annihilation, submitted without a fight, having to pay a yearly tribute. Hoping to make the most of the chaos, the Mongols left behind the Livonian Order, a sub-branch of the Teutonic Knights who were crusading in the region, as well as soldiers from Denmark, Germany and Estonia, as well as Russian exiles, launched a hugely successful attack in 1240, taking the city of Pskov, among others, before leaving a garrison of only 2 knights and around 20 to 50 men-at-arms before retiring for the winter. The next year though, Novgorod, led by the 20-year-old Alexander Nevsky, launched their own counter-attack, wiping out many of the Crusader gains before raiding into Crusader lands, causing as much chaos as possible, and after the winter months had passed, the Crusaders launched their own counter-attack against the counter-attack, catching a small detachment of Novgorod forces and wiping them out around Tartu. Upon hearing the news from the survivors who managed to escape, Nevsky turned his force eastward across the still frozen Lake Peipus to feign that of a retreating army and to lure the confident Crusaders in, as he picked his own spot for the battle, which was on the edge of the shoreline of the lake, so the Crusaders, if they wanted to attack him, had to stumble across the ice. The crusading force numbered around 2,600, with 100 Teutonic Knights, around 800 knights from Denmark and Germany, who were all heavily armoured and mounted, and the rest infantry from Denmark, Germany and Estonia, who were to support the frightening heavy cavalry charge of the knights. In comparison, Novgorod had around 5,000 to 6,000 troops, with 1,000 being the heavy cavalry of the Drazinia, apologies if I've mispronounced that, around 500 horse archers, and the rest lightly armoured militia and archers, whose job was to absorb the initial attacks before the Drazinia launched devastating counterattacks. The battle began as the Crusaders formed into a cavalry wedge and charged directly at the Novgorod centre where their militia were stationed. However, it wouldn't have been as effective as a normal cavalry charge, as the horses would have been slipping on the ice, as well as being impaled by thousands of arrows. Despite heavy losses, the Novgorod militia managed to absorb the cavalry charge without fleeing, and as the Crusader Knights got sucked more and more into the centre, trying to take out Nevsky to destroy the command structure, the horse archers now managed to flank the Danish Knights and cut them to pieces. The Danish cavalry couldn't catch the lighter armoured horse archers when they gave chase, so now they and the Estonian infantry fled to save themselves, and after a few hours of fighting, the Crusader forces were absolutely exhausted from that, as well as slipping on the ice, and now Nevsky unleashed his secret weapon. He ordered his cavalry on the flanks to encircle the crusading forces, which was an absolute slaughter. The battle managed to establish permanent borders between Western Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, as it halted the Teutonic Knights' advance eastward, and the battle became a symbol of hope for Russia during World War II against the advance of the Germans due to the 1938 film Alexander Nevsky. In the film, as the Crusaders are retreating along the lake, the ice collapses and many of them drown in the lake. However, this is just believed to be a creative addition, as the lake is less than a metre in some areas, as well as the ice being apparently thick enough to support a small car in winter months.